This is the IC 109 podcast. You're listening to IC 109. I'm thinking about changing the name from IC 109 to I Spy 109. I Spy 109 rhymes, and I think if someone sees the license plate or sees the words I Spy 109, they will understand, oh, this is like I Spy the game. The kids game. I spy blah blah blah. I spy something blue, and then they look for something blue, and then they call it out and guess what you see. So my thing is I spy 109, which means that's what I see. It catches my eye. Well, today was a great day. I was in a Spanish classroom subbing for Spanish students, or rather students learning Spanish. And I had a great time because I've worked so diligently to develop, relationships with the students. I've they've seen me at the school day in and day out. They are accustomed to seeing me, comfortable, with me. A number of the students I pulled to the side. When I was sitting at my desk in class, I would call them over, beckon them over. I say, sit down, sit next to me, and let me tell you my story. And a number of students I sat there and I told my story to, from my travels, to all of my experiences with 109 and what have you. So, a number of these students I had in other classes, and I had talked with them one-on-one. So when I had all of them in the class, at one time, all of these familiar faces, and they were, not only was I familiar with them, having had seen them in other classes, but they were also familiar with me, having been that I held conversations with them, or rather, I was, talking, specifically directly to each student when we were talking. So it was good because I had all these students, and they were like, yeah, we know you do, we're comfortable with you, we know that you respect us, we know that you hear us, we don't have to jockey for your attention and this and that. And yeah, there's a lot of that kind of stuff. So it was a good day. I had 3 classes, and the students they very much received me very well, And the thing about that, there's another administrator who walked in, when I had the I wonder, there were a couple of administrators who walked in, and I wonder if they were shocked. At least one. I wonder if one administrator was shocked to see or to notice that the students were not behaving as, defiantly as they can with other instructors. And it wasn't happening with me. Not that I command, their respect from an authoritative, disposition. That's not it at all. I'm neither, have I been a authoritarian when I was in school. I mean, when I did try to be an authoritarian or lead, as an authoritarian when I was teaching martial arts. I was about 17 years old, and I did have that approach. I was tough on the others because I was tough on myself, and I remember one of the martial arts instructors, the Grand Masters, who told me, good job teaching the students. And I thought, wow, I appreciated that, because I was, like I said, I was hard on myself. I wanted the best from my martial arts experience, and I was like, some of these kids look at this as just a playground, whereas I took it very seriously. And so It was a good day. I was there with the students. Some of the students did not, didn't really care or didn't, yeah, they were in their own world. They blocked me out. They were on their Chromebooks and what have you. There was one, the middle class, I had three classes. So the class in the middle, the second class that I had it was a very large class. So that was already a challenge for me to manage. But there was no, belligerent, defiant behavior. And I wasn't trying to force them, I did try to corral their attention. Um, but again, I didn't mention this. I didn't have any idea what I was walking into this morning. All I was doing was um, trying to make the best use of the time. So I did have an activity that was related to Spanish because again, these were Spanish classes that I was subbing for. And so I think the most poignant question I had, my thing is when I get in there, I try to ask questions to get them to think, and I want them to give me, responses to these questions that I asked them. And so I asked the students, I said, I want you guys to think and give me an honest answer, and give me your answer, immediately, to the question, what is your relationship with foreign languages, or describe your relationship with foreign languages. And immediately when I asked that question, or gave them that prompt, to respond to, it was pretty silent, aside from those students who were talking, in their own little groups. And I thought, oh, I have to demonstrate for them what I'm talking about. So I said, okay, let me demonstrate. So I went ahead and I said, all right, guys, I learned Spanish when I was in school. I wasn't the best student, but I learned the basics. I got the foundation. Then, I told them I speak three languages, and the reason why I enjoy learning languages is because it allows me to, communicate with other people from different parts of the world, different cultures, different experiences. And yeah, so that was pretty much my answer. In hindsight, I mean, you know what? I definitely said I loved learning languages. I love that. That. So my thing was I put a positive spin on foreign languages. I mean, that's my response. The one thing that I forgot to say is that with regard to foreign languages, I wanted to say that a foreign language is nothing more than a tool of expression for the human being. We are human beings, and so we use these tools to express ourselves in different, communities, around different people and cultures. And that's all that a language is. And so when we learn to communicate in that language, well, then we give ourselves the opportunity to, express our ideas. And that's the key, expressing your idea, because your idea is in your brain, is in your mind, it's in your heart, in your soul, it's inside, but it has to come out. And language is the vehicle through which we use to bring forth our ideals. So that was the that's kind of what I wanted to communicate. I don't think I said that. I definitely didn't say it like that. But I gave them a decent example of how to respond to my question. And then that's what scaffolding, when you demonstrate how to respond, and then they follow. And then I got some of those students who know me, who have had me in other classes, and who are just like, comfortable with me when they see me, like, oh, okay, I know who this is. Yeah. Familiar, familiarity. They participated. Now, those same students who participated were still, engaged in other activities, doing other assignments, holding conversations. So at least at one moment during that class, I was able to, capture, their attentions and get them to think about something that I wanted them to think of. But then after that, it was like, okay, get back to doing whatever you were doing before. So that was it. And then the third period, the last period, was quite interesting because I had all of these familiar faces in my class. But I noticed that the students started to cut up and they were doing their own thing. And I said, no, 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 we're not having that. So rather than be forceful, because I don't use the authoritarian approach or authoritative approach, I just told three of the boys, I said, no, 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 you guys aren't going to sit over there and just talk. I said, you guys are going to come here because I needed the whole class to do the assignment. I said, all of you are going to come. You three students are going to come to the front of the class. I'm going to give you this assignment and you're going to do it. And when you're finished with the assignment, all right, you can go back to doing what you were doing before, but just do the doggone assignment that I've prepared for you guys, that I'm asking you to do. Show me that you guys can do some work. And because the assignment is related to the subject of the class, then we're like right on our mark. We're right on target. Like, yeah, this is not a waste of your time. This is not just some busy work. This is valuable. So let's go. Let's get it. And so for the most part, students were on point and they were doing their thing and they completed my my task. And I offered support and help, and I did that. I offered support and help so that they would do it correctly, and they did it correctly. And that was just like, whoa. That was profoundly rewarding. One of the students gave me a fist bump on the way out, but I know that student, and so he's giving me a fist bump, from time to time, but I think that fist bump today was well deserved. I got him. I helped him get through his assignment. He did it all on his own. I just had to, explain it to him a couple of times, but yeah. So that was cool. The fist bump was all right. And for those three boys who were talking, yeah, they did their work. They came to the front, which I didn't have to argue with them. I didn't have to, beg them. Sit over here. Come on now. Do it now. Why aren't you doing it? What's wrong? No. Just, all right, guys, we're not doing that. Come over here. Sit down. And they moved. That was cool. They did their assignment. Like, wow, that was dope. So, so I just had to make this podcast episode about, my day. It was a wonderful day. Some days are not this rewarding, and some days are not this this fun. No, I can't say it's always. I guess there is certainly some enjoyment, especially looking back on it and saying, "Wow, for all that we accomplished, that was pretty fun and that was pretty interesting and what have you." But it was, it was a unique day. Part of the reason, a great part of the reason why it was such a good day is because I just stayed in one classroom. I have no idea why the teacher is out. We don't get explanations. We don't know why a certain situation played out the way that it did. I imagine a teacher, has an appointment and can't miss it. It's outside of the school and they need support, and so we step up and we do our thing. And so, being that I stayed in one classroom, that was important, because other days they'll they'll shift me. All right, you're going to do this for the first period, and then we're going to have you move over here for the last period, and in the middle of the day we'll have you doing something else. And that's that's a chaotic day. But when you can stay in the same classroom, you can catch a rhythm, catch a stride, and ride it out, catch a wave and ride it out for the rest of the day, and make some progress with the students. So that's what it is. All right. So I just had to make this podcast episode and talk about my day because it was one for the record books. It's quite an enjoyable day. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. We'll see what tomorrow brings. And the students are pleasant. Students are pleasant and know me and they see me, and it's good. And one of the students saw me and said something, I don't know, Mr. 109 or hey 109, and it was a kid I hadn't seen. I hadn't led his class in a long time, but he remembered me and remembered my story. So that man, that was cool. Like, hey, little dude, you remember? Like, yeah, man. Like, wow, bro. It's very cool stuff, man. Don't forget to check out IC109 store, IC109.store. That's the website. Go pick up some merchandise there. Go pick up some, buy the digital book, buy a physical copy of the book, 109. Yeah. Tell a friend, tell your mama and them. There's some artwork there as well. If you have a friend who lives in Beverly Hills or Bel Air, and they want some artwork to add to their collection, definitely tap in. I've got a few valuable works of art that can decorate their home. Yep. All right. 109, and I'm out.